and this is necessary because demand fluctuates a lot. So something's got to be done to achieve a supply-demand clearing point for volume. So just people are reacting to something that's obvious as opposed to saying, oh, yes, every car company does this all the time. Tesla is no exception. That's the actual reality. So, all right. So.
Last question.
I'll be really quick.
Okay.
So I will say I have been driving FSD. My wife drives FSD. There's a term called the wife test. My wife will only drive our kids on FSD. It's incredible.
So that is a great. I mean, the sort of significant other test is a very a good test because for a while there was like, you know, friends or significant others would be like, please don't put it on. It's too scary. But then it's getting to the point where, I mean, it's going to be just smooth as silk. So in fact, you'll be able to visually tell, perhaps even now you can, visually tell if the car is being driven on FSD or manually, because if it's being driven on FSD, it's smooth and precise. And if you look at if you actually closely observe cars going down the highway, the people are constantly moving in their lanes. So the cars are like doing this all the time when they're manually driven. If it's actually on FSD, it's dead center in the lane. It will actually get to the point where it is not merely, and maybe is at that point, not merely safer than a person, but actually way smoother than manual driving. I can't say enough about the profundity of full self-driving. It is just one of the biggest changes in history that will occur. It's not some feature. it's like a profound. It's really as profound as electrification. And that we already have millions of the cars on the road that will literally achieve this with a software update. I mean, that's like head exploding emoji, you know? I think probably a lot of people in this room realize it, but most of the rest of the world doesn't. Yeah, so.
Given how incredible FSD is and how much merit you're giving to potential future margins of the car, as well as how much impact on society, and given that they didn't even want you to say if it's going to happen this year, just not to jinx it.
Sure.
Would it be possible to have just for some type of public-facing, investor-facing kind of timeline, so that way you mentioned V12 is coming, and that's AI front end. Could we just see kind of a timeline on this is the version we're at? These are the things we're working on, and this is when we're, ETA. So we can kind of see that in real time instead of maybe Elon time.
No, so the thing that's been, really difficult with full self-driving is that it very often seems like it's about to happen until you realize that you're actually at a local maximum, and that you need to re-architect elements of the software to get out of the local maximum to then a higher local maximum. So it's been this sort of series of logarithmic curves. And that's why it's been like, it seemed like, oh, if you just extrapolate this on a straight line, it gets to self-driving, except that it's not a straight line, it's a logarithmic curve, and it sort of, and you start hitting these like local maximums where you'll sort of asymptote to a certain capability and then have to re-architect things. So now I think we're finally at a high enough local maximum, or will be this year, where to the point where it is, I think, probably safer than a person, meaning the probability of injury on average will be better than a person, even if someone pays no attention to the car. It is worth saying that right now, for human supervised Tesla full self-driving, it is dramatically safer than manual driving. It's like, I think like 4 times safer, maybe more. So it is already a massive safety improvement to have human supervised FSD right now. And I think we will get to the point where we're always going to be in some amount of local maximum, but I think that we'll be in a local maximum that exceeds human level safety this year. Yeah, but I guess we'll see. So anyway, I want to thank you all for coming, and so. Just want to say, your support is super appreciated, and as I say, a friend in need is a friend indeed, and supporting Tesla when the chips are down, those are the real friends, and you're them. So thank you. All right. Oh, hey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesla's 2023 annual shareholder meeting in Austin, Texas. My name is Martin Viecha. I'm Vice President of Investor Relations, and I will be the chair of today's meeting. First of all, I really wanted to thank everyone who continues to do this trip on an annual basis and shows up every time. It's really quite something that we have a following as dedicated as this, so thank you very much for that. I also wanted to thank our first-time visitors. I know that many of you won a lottery to come for the first time to a Tesla shareholder meeting. You'll probably notice that unlike many other shareholder meetings of other companies, this one tends to be a bit more fun, so hope you enjoy that. But the last thing I really wanted to say is that just thank you so much for all your support over the years. We really feel like you're part of our mission, part of our story, and it's something we truly, truly value. So thank you so much for that. There will be two parts of today's meeting. First, the formal part of the meeting, where we will cover items that stockholders have been asked to vote on, as well as any other matters that are properly presented. And after the voting, I will introduce Tesla's co-founder and CEO and techno-king, Elon Musk, who will give a presentation about Tesla's year in review. But at this time, I'd like to thank the members of the Tesla team and the board who are here with us here today. A representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers, Tesla's independent auditor, present with us as well. But before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, who would like to say a few words.
I'm a little bit shorter, so hello, everyone. On behalf of the board, I am really honored to welcome you all here today to the 2023 annual shareholder meeting. It's wonderful for me to see everyone in the room today and also the many investors that have joined us today via the virtual live stream. It's our third straight year of having the annual meeting here in Austin. At the first meeting, the factory was still in the early stages of development, with equipment being installed and commissioned. During the 2022 meeting, production had started to ramp as we produced about 1,600 vehicles that week. And now, less than a year later, we have more than tripled the amount, having achieved production of 5,000 cars in a single week. A huge congratulations to the Texas team. And on top of that, we are getting ready to roll out our first Cybertrucks. This exponential trajectory of the Gigafactory here in Texas is a reflection of Tesla as a whole. In 2022 was another record-breaking year for us, with deliveries growing by 40% year over year. And that trend has continued in the first quarter of 2023. We would not be able to achieve this growth without the dedication of our amazing employees. I've been fortunate enough over the years to actually travel to many of our locations, all of the gigafactories around the world, and I can tell you that I've witnessed firsthand how our exceptional employees in our global talent across the world has together achieved our mission or furthered our mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. A huge round of applause, please. This year, here in Texas, we also had our very first Investor Day, where we introduced our company leaders from design to engineering to supply chain, manufacturing, energy, and charging. And they each spoke about the role of their teams in making our mission come to life. And I was thrilled that investors were able to hear directly from this outstanding leadership team that Elon has been able to put together over many, many years. It is on the strength of their leadership and the hard work of our dedicated employees around the world that I believe we are not only weather the macroeconomic environment that we've seen this year, but also continue to be in the strongest position ever to advance Tesla's mission. As a startup, Tesla proved that electric vehicles could be fun with the Roadster. They could even be better than gas-powered vehicles in every single way with the S and X, and could be all of these things as well as affordable with the Model 3 and Model Y, which last quarter became the best-selling vehicle of any kind in Europe and the best-selling non-pickup vehicle in the United States. And today, as one of the world's largest global companies, we plan to change the paradigm again by forging the path to achieving a global sustainable energy economy as set out at our Investor Day in our Master Plan 3. As Tesla grows, so do our customers' positive impact on carbon emissions. When I stood here last year, I proudly announced that in 2021, our customers avoided emitting 8.4 million metric tonnes of greenhouse gas emissions, the equivalent of over 20 billion miles driven by internal combustion engine vehicles. Today, I can tell you that in 2022, our customers avoided releasing over 13.4 million metric tonnes of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, the equivalent of over 33 billion miles of driving of internal combustion vehicles. That's an almost 60% increase in total emissions savings year over year. Putting more of our products in customers' hands helps grow that number, and our goals of making our products greener over time and further decarbonising the electric grid will help multiply that effect. As part of that goal, I am delighted to say that as described in our recent impact report, our global supercharging network was again 100% renewable in 2022. We've been able to achieve all of this while maintaining industry-leading margins, and generating strong cash flows over the last several years. Going forward, we will continue our focus on capital investment plans to support our future growth, with investments in batteries, in vehicle production, including the next generation platform, in the building of our lithium refinery that we recently broke ground on, in the energy storage factories, in our sales and service footprint, and in our charging network, among other things. Before I hand it back to Martin,